running to unseat Tom Cole. We're going to get started here in about 5 minutes. So stop what you're doing, call your friends, call your mom, call your brother and sister, tell them to join in. Let's have a virtual conversation together about how we're going to unseat Tom Cole, about how we're going to take back representing ourselves, we the people in the United States Congress, how we're going to make a difference even when the system is trying to prevent that from happening. So I'm going to get started here in about 5 minutes. So call your friends, call your mom, call your brother and sister, and let's have this conversation together. I'm so excited to be here with you guys tonight. And I just wanted to start this by saying, however you celebrate and whatever you believe, happy holidays. I'm so thankful to be able to spend this holiday season with you and with my family and the ones that I love. I was honored that we were able to turn in a box full of brand new unwrapped toys to Toys for Tots because of your generosity, because you believe in bringing the spirit of Christmas magic to children who deserve it right here in our country. And I'm so thankful to be a part of that. And I'm so grateful for the contributions we've also received for our gift card drive to support food and shelter and to make a difference this holiday season in the lives of those who just need a little bit of help. So again, right about 5:35, I'll get started talking about some issues that in the campaign, why I'm running, what I believe in, and ultimately why you should vote for me. But I just want to give everyone a minute to get logged in. So please call your friends, call your mom, call your sister, call your brother, and let's have a conversation together. This is wildly important. As you know, there's a lot going on in our country right now, and it takes all of us working together toward the same vision and the same mission in order to get this accomplished. So if you're ready for new representation in the United States Congress, if you're ready for we the people to hold Oklahoma's fourth again, then let's do it together. Again, however you celebrate, whatever you believe in, I want to take a moment before we get started to say happy holidays. I hope it's a blessed one for you and your family. I hope that every child this season gets to wake up on Christmas morning to that little bit of joy and magic that comes with seeing something with your name on it under the tree. And that's why I was so blessed and so thankful to be able to turn in a box last Saturday to Toys for Tots, unwrapped brand new toys that your generosity and your kindness made possible, you good people of Oklahoma. So thank you so much for being part of the drive, for making it happen. And don't forget, we're still accepting gift cards for food and shelter right here in Norman, Oklahoma at the headquarters. We're asking for denominations to fast food. And if you don't like fast food, then get a gift card to Brahms, because there is a market in Brahms where people can go spend money, get fruit, bread, meat, cheese, the things like that they need. There are so many options and so many ways to give back this holiday season. And I know I can count on you. And I want to say once again, thank you for the generosity that has already been poured into this campaign. We're going to get started here in just about 1 minute. So if there's anyone you think should be a part of this conversation, if there's anyone who you know has tough questions that they want to ask, tell them to get on here. Tell them that we're ready to have a conversation together. And if representatives who currently hold office are not willing to have town halls, are not willing to engage with you, and are not willing to answer your questions, then why don't you find a candidate, someone like Mitchell Jacob running for the United States Congress, who wants to represent you, who's willing to take your questions directly, and who's willing to be here with you to have a conversation. I've been hosting live town halls. They've been in Norman so far, but we're expanding that. We have one coming up January 17th, for example, in 2026. That will be in Wayne, Oklahoma at Mid-America Technology Center at 4 p.m. So if you'd like to come to a live town hall, then I encourage you, please put January 17th, 2026, Mid-America Technology Center at 4 p.m. in your calendar so that you can come to a live version of this, ask your questions there, and see how everything is going. Well, my friends, it's 5:35. Thank you so much for joining. My name is Mitchell Jacob, and I'm your favorite candidate for the United States Congress for Oklahoma's 4th Congressional District. I am a Democrat, and I'm proud to be running as a Democrat right here in Oklahoma's 4th. A little bit about me, my friends. and why I'm running. There's a why, a big question that comes with this. Are you tired of being told that you get what you voted for? Are you tired of being told that this is all our fault? Because I'm certainly tired of that. I did not vote for a president who does not believe in the Constitution, who believes that executive orders that he signs somehow are more important than the founding document upon which our country runs. I am tired of tariffs that are destroying small businesses. I am tired of promises, for example, voting on the ACA, the Affordable Care Act's premium tax credits so that healthcare premiums will not double and triple come January. That was supposed to be voted upon today. Yesterday, actually. Today's Wednesday, on December 16th, and that did not happen. And yet, Oklahoma families and American families are going to see their healthcare costs double and sometimes even triple because Speaker Johnson can't be bothered to have a vote in the House on whether or not you should get a credit for your health insurance coverage. I believe that's an absolute travesty. And because I'm tired of being told that I get what I vote for when I certainly didn't vote for this, I decided to run for Congress myself and do the work that Tom Cole seems unwilling or unable, whichever it may be, to do. Because I believe that someone like you and someone like me, one of the people, should be holding this office. So let's make that happen together. My friends, we must work together. And if you didn't catch it earlier, first, I encourage you to invite your friends, your mom, your brother, your sister, have them join this conversation and ask the tough questions. Additionally, if you want to come to a live version of one of these town halls on January 17th, 2026 at 4 p.m. Mid-America Technology Center in Wayne, Oklahoma, I'll be hosting one. Keep an eye out for it. So a little bit about me, my friends. My name is Mitchell Jacob. Again, your favorite candidate for United States Congress. And I was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma. I'm one of 9 children. So you can imagine what life can be like having so many built-in best friends every single day as you're growing up. I had a single mother for most of my life who worked very hard and to this day still works in the restaurant industry. So you can imagine that some days were more difficult than others, and some back to school seasons had more brand new outfits than others, and we made the best of it. And I think that it has truly made me the person I am today, and I'm so thankful for it. I had the blessing, like I said, of being born in Tulsa, Oklahoma, and I discovered back in 2004 swimming, and I've now been a swimmer for almost 22 years. I can't believe that that's a true statement, but I still love to swim. And if you would like to see a challenge come true, next Friday, December 26th, I'll be going to the Young Family Athletic Center right here in Norman, Oklahoma, and doing 100 laps to Congress. And I'm asking for sponsors to sponsor $1, $2, $3, $5, or $10 per lap. And the goal is to complete 100 laps. So if that's you, take a look at the Facebook, take a look at the website, and go sign up to sponsor one of those laps so that you can help keep this campaign funded going into the new year. So a few things that I believe in, my friends. There are a couple things that I want to accomplish when you elect me in the United States Congress for Oklahoma's 4th. Number one thing that I'm extremely proud of Oklahoma for, in our Constitution, the Oklahoma State Constitution, we have a single subject rule. The single subject rule is very simple, and all it says is that if a bill is going to go through the Oklahoma legislature and become law, then that bill can only be about a single subject. It can be long, it can be complicated, it can have a lot to it, but it can only be about that one subject. And we clearly know that that does not apply to the federal government. Just look at that big billionaire bill that was signed on the 249th birthday of my beloved country that had hundreds of different provisions in it. And it was over 900 pages, such that you and I do not have the ability to read that big billionaire bill and understand what it's about. What is it trying to actually do? And I believe that the federal government must be accountable to the people, must be transparent, and that you and I deserve to know what each of our representatives is voting upon when they cast that vote. And the only way that we can truly make that happen is by subjecting the federal government to that single subject rule as well. And so I will be a champion of the single subject rule because we deserve transparency. I do not believe that when something goes to the United States Congress, that it should have riders or pork barreling. It should not have special interests tagged to the back of it or random lines insert in the middle of it that have nothing to do with the bill. Single subject only. So that is one thing that I want to champion when you elect me to be your next congressman for Oklahoma's 4th is the single subject rule. Additionally, health insurance, health care specifically, and I'm sure that this will resonate with at least some of you. Have you or a loved one or a family member ever needed a health care procedure, surgery, something like that, but a doctor has said that you need something for your health? But the health insurance company steps in, even though you're up to date on your premiums, even though you are a loyal, dedicated customer, they deny that coverage, that care that you require. Well, I do not believe that health insurance companies should be in the business of providing medical advice. And so I want to sponsor the DNA Act, what I'm calling the Doctors Not Accountants Act. And at its core, the DNA Act is simple. It will simply say that if a doctor, a duly licensed physician, has recommended a particular course of treatment or a surgery or whatever it may be that you need for your health, that the insurance company does not have the right to deny that coverage unless two also duly licensed physicians who have also taken the Hippocratic Oath, and that is critical for me, who have taken that Hippocratic Oath, deem that it is not necessary and override that medical advice, because only doctors should be giving medical advice, not account managers, not finance managers, and certainly not the insurance company itself. So that's what I believe in. Single subject rule for the federal government and the Doctors Not Accountants Act. Whenever you are up to date on your premiums and you need life-saving care in your life, it's time that the insurance companies fulfill the obligation that they took when they accepted your premium. So if you want to see that happen, I need your help to do it, my friends. Mitchell Jacob for Congress. Go to mitchelljacob.com. Sign up for the newsletter. Sign up to be a volunteer and come and join us. Well, let's see if we have anything that I can answer for you right now before I move on to some additional topics. I see some fun items in the chat, some greetings, things of that nature. So hello all. So glad you're with me. So glad you're here. I am honored to have you. Anything from the rest of the chat? We're looking good. Well, my friends, a few things I want to talk about. Has your life gotten more expensive? Did you know that unemployment is up? Did you know that wages are stagnant? Did you know that inflation is on the rise? Did you know that small businesses are failing? Did you know that tariffs are at the highest rate they've been in decades? Did you know that we are actively destroying small businesses all across the United States right now with ill-conceived and poorly implemented economic policies that are harming American businesses, which means that they're harming Americans? Did you know that we are losing jobs faster than we are gaining them right now? There's a lot going on, and I encourage you. There have been some economic data that were released yesterday and on Monday. And if you're not familiar with the state of our economy right now, I truly encourage you to go take a look. We were in a much better place 1 year ago under the Biden administration. The stock market was up, wages were rising, we were gaining jobs, and we have basically reversed the vast majority of that. Now, if you own stock, you have been doing well in the stock market lately, but roughly 40% of Americans, probably many of you that I'm speaking to tonight, do not own stock. And so however well the stock market does, however much money people are earning in that stock market, it leaves many Americans behind. And that does not mean, just because the stock market is doing well, does not mean Americans are doing well. And I think that economists, and many politicians forget that. And I want to empathize with you. If you are not seeing an improvement in your economic conditions right now, then I am sorry for the America that you're in today. But we can do better. It's never too late to reverse course. And I encourage you, learn more about who's running for office in your district. Learn more about who represents you and how they have been voting. Because your voice, your vote is way more important than you know. And I encourage you to exercise it to put a representative or a senator or a state rep in office who understands what is happening in the country right now and who has your best interests in mind. One way that I want to attack this affordability crisis is by increasing the number of small businesses that we have right here in the United States of America. If you've ever wanted to own a business or start one or buy one, then let's talk for a moment. The Small Business Administration for the United States of America, I want to expand the SBA. I believe that small business is the lifeblood of the American economy. And I believe that you should have the ability, not just the right, but the ability to own your tomorrow if that's what you want to do. I want to expand the access to startup loans, to business expansion loans, to equipment purchase loans, and facilities purchase loans so that you can start that small business you've always wanted. It strikes me often that economic data talks about jobs, unemployed, job seekers, the job market itself. But what I don't hear talked about enough is how many small businesses we're starting, how many are being funded, and how many are growing. Because that, I think, is much more critical. Because if you don't want to just go apply for a job, then let's work together so that we can create a system where you can go and make that job, where you can make that business that you've always wanted to own and own a little slice of your American dream. It's never too late, but I need your help to do it. And let's take a look. With regard to the ACA, my friends, the Affordable Care Act, or commonly colloquially referred to as Obamacare. As you probably know, the United States federal government recently shut down. And the primary driver behind shutting down the federal government was that in the big billionaire bill that passed on July 4th of this year, 2025, there were provisions that started to cut funding for healthcare and Affordable Care Act plans. But in addition to that, there was a sunset or an ending of premium tax credits that go toward helping you afford your ACA marketplace plan. Those are set to expire at the end of this month. And as a condition of reopening the United States government, there was a requirement that we vote on extending those premium tax credits. So for 3 years was the original tentative agreement. And that vote was supposed to occur yesterday, December 16th. Obviously, it's December 17th, and that vote has not occurred. Beyond that, Speaker Johnson, our beloved Speaker of the House, said that he will not entertain a vote on extension of the premium tax credits. So he effectively not only lied whenever we negotiated to open the United States federal government, but is actively blocking a vote so that you can have more affordable health insurance in January. And 2 things are coming as a result of that. January 1st, many premiums, even right here in Oklahoma, will be doubling and in some cases going up by 204%, which effectively means that they will be tripled. If you were paying $400 per month, you will be facing between $800 and $1,200 per month. And those are wildly different prices. That means people will lose their insurance because they can't afford it, stop paying for it, stop going to the doctor. And it means that we'll have a less healthy population, a population that is taking on more medical debt, and a population that is only going to that is using the emergency room as their primary care physician because they cannot afford the premiums to have an actual primary care physician or go to urgent care or whatever the case may be. I believe in better for you. I believe that you should be healthy just because you're an American. There should not be any more to that issue. Your health should not be based upon your income or your employer or what you do for a living. That is not the America that I swore an oath to support and defend. But even more interesting than the fact that Speaker Johnson doesn't believe in Americans enough to allow, again, to allow a vote on whether or not to extend these premium tax credits is the fact that 4 Republicans have signed on to a discharge petition to force the House to go to that vote. That means that this is a bipartisan issue. This is not about Democrat or Republican. This is about Americans. This is about you and whether or not you will have health insurance so that you can afford your health care in 2026. And that's what I want for you. That's all that I want for you, is that you have access to the basic life-saving care that you need. So if you want that discharge petition, to go through, then please write your House representative. Tell them, sign that discharge petition. Tell them to allow a vote on whether or not the premium tax credits for the Affordable Care Act should be extended. Because let's say this clearly, even if you do not use a marketplace plan, even if you're not a recipient of health insurance through the ACA, this will absolutely affect you in the long run. Failure of Congress to pass this extension will affect other plans down the line, because health insurance companies are for-profit entities. And when their bottom line becomes affected because they're not receiving those plans and those premiums and that money, that will drive up the cost of all plans. So this will have a ripple effect, and I believe in better for you. So if you want better, please, again, write your House representative, tell them to sign on to the discharge petition, and let's at least go to a vote on whether or not to extend those premium tax credits, because you and I deserve to know who it is that does not want you to have access to health care. If you're just joining us, as I can see people are, again, my name is Mitchell Jacob. I'm your favorite candidate for the United States Congress for Oklahoma's 4th congressional district. I'm running to unseat Tom Cole, and on June 16th of 2026, there will be a primary election between myself and one Mr. Jeff Pixley. I encourage you, take a look at both of us, learn more about our campaigns. Make sure you go vote. And if you live here in Oklahoma, it's critical that you go and vote in the primary, not just because you have candidates to vote for, but because if you didn't already know, State Question 832 will be on Oklahoma ballots on June 16th. State Question 832 is your chance to vote on what you want our minimum wage to be. And on June 16th, 2026, you'll get to vote for a $15 minimum wage for the great state of Oklahoma. And you'll also get to vote for me. So why wouldn't you go vote in that election? Again, Mitchell Jacob, running for the United States Congress, and I look forward to your vote on June 16th, 2026, and then also on November 3rd, 2026. Steve, I do apologize. These are things I want to fix. We can all do better. We can all have better, and we all deserve better. Let's take a look. We have a few things I just wanted to hit on tonight really quickly. The American dream. My friends, I still believe in the American dream. This is the United States of America. And while we may have our priorities misaligned, we may be funding billionaires over people. We may be cutting and gutting services that benefit the lives of Americans, such as Medicare, Medicaid, SNAP, WIC. You name it, we're gutting it all so that we can give billionaires tax breaks. None of those things are permanent, and all it takes is a change. You going to vote, helping, running for office if that's what it takes, or voting out those who are gutting the services that you rely on. We can change this together, and I'm doing my best. I'm putting in the hours, I promise you, and I'm putting in the work, and now we need your help. Come knock a door with me, make a phone call with me, write a check, host me in your living room, share everything you see on social media, including this live stream right now. We can do this together, but it takes a village. There are almost 800,000 people in this district and only one of me. I cannot reach everyone myself, and I need your help. So let's do it together. But that American dream, I still believe that every single child, migrant, family, and American is entitled to a fair shot right here in the United States of America. That if you want to go to school, that there's a school that you can afford and go to. If you want to start a business, that there's a business loan option available to you so that you can do that. That if you want uh, to live on a beach and not work, as long as you can find a way to pay for that, then that should be your right too, because this is a land of individual freedoms and individual liberties, and I still believe in that. Let's bring the American dream back for all Americans. Education. Education is close to my heart. For those of you who don't know, I actually have 5 kids. Somehow, some way, they're all boys. Still don't know how that happened. But I am incredibly proud of them. And the short and sweet is that my boys go to public schools. I am personally a proud product of public schools. And I am so grateful and thankful, not only for the education I received and the quality of the education I received, but for those teachers, underpaid, overworked, with too many students in their classroom, who still took the time to pull me aside, invest in me, and let me know that there was a future and a world out there that I couldn't even begin to dream of. And I thank them, Mrs. Clemens, Mrs. American Horse, and Mrs. Baker, for setting me on a path where all that I've done over the last 25 years since they started that investment is read books, learn more, become more educated, and travel, explore, expand my horizons and my mindset. Because that which is true today, even though it may have been true forever, does not have to be true tomorrow. Look at history if you want proof of that. The Berlin Wall eventually fell. The USSR eventually fell. The United States was eventually created to get away from those monarchical systems and taxation without representation. That system goes on and on and on. But just because something is true today does not mean that we shouldn't plan, dream, hope, and fight for the change that we want to see in this world. And all that for me started in a public school, believe it or not. And so I believe in our public schools. I believe in funding public schools, paying our teachers a living wage. No teacher should have to be married and have a 2-income household in order to pay their bills. That doesn't even make sense to me, and explains so much why Oklahoma has more than 50% of its teachers on an emergency certification. If that's one of you, I'm so thankful that you have stepped up to the plate, that you are teaching the children right here in Oklahoma, despite the challenges that you're facing and despite what's going on. And what I want for you is to be able to pursue the degree so that you can become fully certified as a teacher, be paid more, be paid a living wage, and be rewarded for stepping up to the plate in Oklahoma's time of need and crisis to ensure that every single child is receiving a quality public education. Because, my friends, one thing I'll share with you is that one of the things that I'm so incredibly proud, that makes me proud to be an American, is that we pioneered the system that says that every single child, not just American children, but every single child inside the United States of America, is entitled to a free public education. What an incredible thing. Every single person who lives in the United States, who grows up in the United States, should be able to read, write, do math, know basic science. And it is incredible to live in a country where that is a true statement. And I just want to ensure that we are properly funding that, properly investing in those children. And for me, my friends, that also means that every single child, every single day that they show up to a school day, should be getting lunch and breakfast. It's that simple. No child can learn on an empty stomach, and no child should be forced to learn and go to school and stay in school on that empty stomach. To the Constitution, I'll be brief here. I can't believe that this is something that I have to campaign on. The number one plank of my campaign is strict adherence to the United States Constitution. Once upon a time, I thought that the following the Constitution was simply a prerequisite for running for elected office. And yet here we are, where I'm having to actively campaign on following the Constitution. So let me say this. When I enlisted in the United States Army, and when I swore the oath of an attorney and I was sworn in by the Oklahoma Supreme Court, Both times I swore an oath to support and defend the United States Constitution. That oath has no expiration date. I believe in that oath, and I believe in the words and upholding the words of the United States Constitution. And I pledge that I will do so. I will fight every single day for your constitutional rights. And if it makes a difference to anyone watching, I work as a public defender for my 9 to 5. That's why I'm wearing this today. And I fight for people's constitutional rights on a daily basis. It's that important to me. I will not stop doing it. And when you elect me to be your next representative for Oklahoma's 4th Congressional District, I'll continue to fight for the Constitution. No deportation without due process, no troops patrolling the streets of American cities, and no bombing foreign boats outside of U.S. waters without a warrant, without due process, because we allege that they are narco terrorists. We deserve better. All right, just taking a look really quickly at a question that we got. Yes. Yeah, so just wanted to talk to Scott for a second. I didn't read the exact question, but small businesses and tariffs. My friends, first thing I'm going to say is, in my opinion, Donald Trump does not have the power to impose the tariffs that he has imposed. The United States Senate, let me back up 1 second. Sorry. Article 1 of the United States Constitution says that the power of taxation, the power of the purse, lies with the United States Congress. And the United States Senate has the ability to override those tariffs that should not have been implemented in the first place, but that's neither here nor there. The United States Senate can override those, and I call upon our senators to do just that. Rand Paul had an initiative, a movement, if you will, a vote, in the United States Senate about this a couple months ago, and it was a 50-50 vote, and J.D. Vance cast the tiebreaker to allow them to stay. We have the ability to fix this, and we must. I call upon our current elected officials to end these tariffs. Tariffs are a useful tool, my friends. They can be used for American protectionism to allow new industries to grow. They can be used, if they're done correctly, in an actual trade war to force another country to do something. But what they are not is supposed to be a tool for when a president gets cranky, when he is offended, when somebody doesn't do what he wants. That is not the purpose of a tariff. They're supposed to be part of they're one tool in a toolbox, and they're supposed to be used to further a larger goal and agenda. They are not by themselves a hammer. That is not how they work. That's not their purpose. That's not why they were created or invented. And yes, to clarify, the American people pay tariffs. China does not pay for the tariffs. Italy does not pay for the tariffs. The European Union does not pay for the tariffs. You and I pay for the tariffs because that tariff is paid when the importer brings it into port in the United States of America. This is a common misconception that I hear all the time, and I'll say it again. A tariff is paid by the American people when that good gets to the United States. It is not paid by a foreign company or a foreign producer. It is paid by the importer or distributor right here in the United States, which means that that cost is passed on to you and me. And right now, what we know to be true is that American small businesses are taking the brunt of these tariffs. Farmers are taking the brunt of these tariffs, so much so that the Trump administration recently announced 12 or 13, forgive me, $1 billion in what they call them, bridge loans or something like that for farmers. And while I'm thankful that we take the steps to take care of Americans, there are two things that I find striking about that move. One, if the tariffs were not there in the first place, we wouldn't need these bridge loans. China would still be buying our soybeans and our wheat and all of our other crops that they're now buying from countries like Brazil. We wouldn't be here if those tariffs were used properly. But number two, and I actually think about this a lot, while the United States government was shut down, Donald Trump led an effort under Besant to purchase $40 billion in Argentine pesos to prop up the value of the economy or the peso in Argentina. Well, one, that's 3 times the amount of money that they're willing to spend on American farmers, even though this administration caused the harm and damage that those farmers are experiencing. And number two, that $40 billion did not go to an American or go to American businesses or people. It went to a foreign country. That's how much the Trump administration values the small businesses that are being destroyed in the United States of America right now by this misguided, unconstitutional effort by the Trump administration to impose tariffs on anyone, any country, and any business that he deems to not be complying with his mandates or his dictates. This temper tantrum is destroying American businesses. And Scott, I empathize with you. I'm right there with you. You deserve better. You deserve to be able to afford the products that you're purchasing, the employees that you're paying, the rent or mortgage or lease that you're saddled with for the business that you're in. And I want you to have a business that your children can take over, that will pay for their college and your mortgage, their college, and set all of you up for a future. And we have the ability to fix it. It requires the Senate or Congress to actually do something. And if you are ready for that change, then vote Mitchell Jacob for United States Congress, and let's do this together. I know that doesn't matter. Let's say it this way, that relief will not come until 2027 this way. But that's the best that I can give you today, because I need your vote before I can force something to be changed for the better for the American people. And you deserve that. Thank you, Scott. And again, I'm sorry that that's what you're facing right now. I think that we can do better. I think you deserve better, and I will work on making that happen. A few things I want to go over because we've had a lot more people join. And so first, thanks for being here with me tonight. I'm so thankful you're here. However you celebrate, whatever you believe in, happy holidays. I hope that you wake up blessed over this season. My name is Mitchell Jacob, and I'm running to unseat Tom Cole because I believe that Tom Cole no longer represents me or my family, my friends, or this district. I think it's time for new representation for you and me. And quite simply, I think that it's time for someone like you and me, one of the people, to hold this seat in Congress once again. And I can only make this happen with your help. Harris, I see your question. I'll get to that in just 1 second. I just don't want to lose this train of thought. If you would like to have a conversation with me, one, I encourage you to follow the campaign and stay up to date on the events. But number two, on January 17th, 2026, at 4 p.m. in Mid-America Technology Center in Wayne, Oklahoma, we're going to be hosting a live town hall. So come, bring your questions, and let's have that conversation together face to face. I love getting to meet you all live like this, and I'd love to shake your hand, hear about you and how I can best represent you, because I'm not here to tell you how I'm going to represent you. I'm here to ask you how I can best represent you. Harris asked a question. The question was two-part. Will I accept any AI PAC money, and will I accept any corporate PAC money? The answer is no. This is a grassroots campaign. AI PAC money, generally, I am not accepting in this campaign. If it comes through, it's going to be returned. This is grassroots. I rely and only accept contributions from individual Americans, people like you and me. That is all that is funding this campaign. And in fact, to even further that point, to start this campaign, because I believe we deserve new representation, I borrowed $25,000 against my retirement savings. And that's how I started this campaign, because I will not be taking PAC money. I will not be taking AI PAC, corporate PAC, doesn't really matter. I do not need special interests to tell me how to best represent you. All I need is for you to tell me how I can do that. Knock a door with me, make a phone call with me, and we can do this together. But I need your help, my friends. So get involved. At mitchelljacob.com, you can follow the newsletter. Let me tell you a secret, my friends. I cannot stand political spam. Cannot stand it. Cannot stand getting 20 emails a day and 30,000 text messages. It drives me bananas. So I promise to not do that to you. I send out 2 emails per week, and I will send out urgent emails as necessary. And to date, in over 100 days of campaigning, I have not sent out an extra email because I cannot stand political spam. And I've only sent one text message so far in this campaign to registered voters. So go on the website, mitchelljacob.com, sign up for the newsletter, sign up to volunteer. I am looking for volunteers in all 14 counties in CD4. And for those of you who are joining who are not familiar with who I am or what I'm doing, my name is Mitchell Jacob, running for United States Congress. That is Southern Oklahoma. It's 14 counties. Love, Tillman, Jefferson, Cotton, Stevens, Murray, Pontotoc, Carter, Comanche, Cleveland, McLean, Grady, Garvin, Oklahoma. I'm sorry if I missed one in there. Forgive me. But it's 14 counties. It's almost 800,000 people. And I'm here to unseat Tom Cole and bring a person like you and me, one of the people, back to the United States Congress. Thanks for the questions so far. Let me take a look here really quickly and see what else we have to address. I received a question the other day of why should you vote for me over Tom Cole? And I think there are a lot of reasons for that, but I think that there's really one that, for me personally, is the most important. The reason I think you should vote for me over Tom Cole on November 3rd, 2026, is because I'm one of the people. Tom Cole has, one, been a member of the United States Congress, making $180,000 per year out of your taxpayer dollars for 23 years. He's worth millions of dollars. And while I do thank him for his first 18 years of service, where I do believe that for 18 years he served this district, state, and country admirably, I think that he's forgotten what it means to be one of the people, to actually worry about how to pay the mortgage or the light bill, or actually have to factor in the cost of rising grocery prices and figure out what you're not going to eat that you love so much because you can't afford it anymore. But I'm in that same situation with you. I have to worry about how we're going to pay for diapers and wipes because we have a 2-year-old in the home. I have a son who's a freshman at OU, and I have to worry every single day about how I'm going to pay for that tuition. Because if you don't know, this administration has been restricting access to loans for higher education. And my son hit his cap instantly because you can only borrow $5,500 per academic year, my friends. And we know that OU is significantly more expensive than that. I know what it's like to have to budget for the gas in my car. I don't get to afford trips, number one, on taxpayer dime, but number two, generally without saving for years and planning for that and knowing exactly what the budget is. So that's what I'll give you. I am one of the people just like you. I know what it's like to need inflation under control and to struggle to pay for that health insurance premium and so much more. And I bet that you would like to have a representative who empathizes with you more than they empathize with billionaires. Because one thing that strikes me is, even if your net worth is $499 million, you are still closer to being on SNAP benefits than you are to being a billionaire. And that is just simply mathematically a fact. And yet we're spending all of this time, effort, and money. We are adding trillions of dollars in debt, $4.1 trillion over the next 10 years. That's $410 billion per year on new tax breaks for billionaires, for less than 1% of the American people. And that's why I think that you should vote for me over Mr. Cole. And as I said earlier, I have a primary on June 16th, 2026 against Jeff Pixley. My candid feedback on why I believe that you should vote for me on June 16th is very simple. Once again, I am one of the people. Mr. Pixley worked for 35 years as an officer in the United States Air Force. And that's not entirely true, forgive me. He had an enlisted period in there at the beginning. And I want to highlight that. And while I thank him, I think that's an incredible career arc. And in many ways, I wish that I could have gone that route, but it strikes me that he's had one employer the entire time. And that employer, by the way, is the federal government, which came with retirement benefits, which came with free healthcare, a housing allowance, with a bunch of benefits, which he deserved in the role that he played. I do not downplay that. But what I'm saying is that in the same period of time over the last 35 years, what I have had to do is work my way up through restaurants, a busboy, dishwasher, concessions, and movie theaters. And then I was able to go to college, but I dropped out because it was too expensive. So I moved my way over to selling mortgages. Turns out I hate sales and don't like working on pure commission. So then I became a stockbroker. Similar issue. And then I've served in the Army too, as an enlisted 35 Papa cryptologic linguist, and I've had the honor of deploying in support and defense of this wonderful nation. And from there, I earned my way through law school, and now I work as a public defender. All that to say, I have had many different experiences. I understand the mortgage market and how that is bought and sold on the secondary market. I understand the plight that we all go through in trying to get a better job, earn a little bit more money, get that raise, get that promotion. That just doesn't happen over a 35-year military career that is guaranteed. It comes with all those benefits that I've already mentioned. So I understand what it's like to have a mother. I don't want to go there. I'm sorry. That will bring other people into the conversation. But to have family who does not have retirement, to have family that does not have health insurance, that to have loved ones whom I want to see excel and exceed, just need a helping hand. And that's what I offer you. Someone who is one of you, who understands and has pulled myself up by the bootstraps, if you will, to accomplish anything and everything that I've accomplished in my life. That's what I offer you, and that is the reason I ask for your vote on June 16th. And a reminder, on June 16th, if you believe that $7.25 is abysmally low for a minimum wage, then on June 16th of 2026, state question 832 is on your ballot wherever you live in Oklahoma, so that you can vote on whether or not to make the minimum wage $15 per hour by 2030. It's not an instant increase. So when you hear people talk against it, remember it's over a 3-year period, excuse me. But if you want $15 minimum wage, then go vote on June 16th. And remember to check Mitchell Jacob for Congress. All right, let's take a look. We've had a lot of people join, and I want to make sure I'm answering all your questions. So bear with me 1 second while I look at these comments and questions. One thing I wanted to say is, however you celebrate, whatever you believe, happy holidays, my friends. I'm really glad you're here with me today. I'm really glad I've had the chance to talk to you. And I'd like to shake your hand and meet you in person. So I encourage you to put it in your calendar, January 17th, 2026, 4 p.m., Mid-America Technology Center in Wayne, Oklahoma. Mr. Pixley and myself, we're doing a moderated live town hall forum. So we'll be asked questions and we'll both answer, and you get to hear us both talk side by side in the same live venue. And I hope you'll come and join me for that. I really look forward to shaking your hand and hearing how I can best represent you. All right. It has been about 45 minutes. It's been wonderful joining everyone here today. We do have a question really quickly. I'd like to give this question set up. So let's go this route. Think with me for a moment and imagine that you were called to jury duty. You're on the jury. The trial hasn't even begun. It's day 1, minute 1 of hour 1. Would you have enough information in the first minute of a trial to decide whether or not the accused is guilty? The answer is obviously no. You cannot, as a juror, have enough information in the first minute of the first hour of the first day of a trial to decide whether or not someone is guilty such that they can be executed in the United States of America. And yet, on September 2nd of this year, Pete Hegseth ordered a strike on a boat full of human beings who were not in the United States of America, who were not under our jurisdiction, were not even in our waters, but an airstrike was ordered bombing that boat without due process, without any of the checks and balances that go into our system of government that we must adhere to before we execute a human being. And even more than that, there were 2 survivors from that initial strike. And Hegseth ordered, well, let's say it this way, regardless, the United States of America bombed those 2 survivors. That is a violation of the Geneva Convention, federal law, and our rules of engagement. Because beyond that, even if you believe everything that you've read, that these were narco-terrorists and that that boat was full of drugs, etc., that's fine. We are not at war with any country right now. We have not declared war. So there is no enemy combatant for us to be bombing. And it doesn't matter what you call them. It doesn't matter what we allege. It only matters what is the truth. And the truth is that we bombed a boat without due process. And then we bombed the survivors of that first bombing. And we as a country must do better. That is unconstitutional. That is, if we were at war, it would be a war crime. And yet again, we weren't at war. So it is simply a violation of the treaties to which we are signatories. And that, in this case, is the Geneva Convention. And so, yes, I believe that it was an unconstitutional, extrajudicial strike, execution of these individuals. And it's even more telling to me that Hegseth himself came out, and it was this week, forgive me, I don't remember which day offhand, they all blend together, but he came out this week and said, no, I will not be showing the public the unedited version of that strike because you don't get to know what I know and you don't get to make a decision. Trust me, bro. That's all that we've been told. Again, in the first minute of the first hour of a first day of a jury term, no juror could have enough information to decide whether or not to execute another human being. And yet that's exactly what happened on September 2nd. And we've had over a dozen strikes during this administration on boats just like that, that are unconstitutional, that are illegal, and must cease. We are not at war with any country. We do not have the authorization, congressional authorization in this case, for the executive branch or for the president or for the, what do you call him, Secretary of Defense or War, I guess he is now, to be authorizing or ordering these strikes. That is illegal, unconstitutional, and I will absolutely be joining any investigation into all of these strikes when you vote Mitchell Jacob to be your next representative, for the United States Congress out of Oklahoma's 4th District. All right, let's take a look at our next question. My friends, I want to talk to you about the HOPE Act, something that is a simple fact in the United States right now is that children under the age of 18, the most likely cause of death is gun violence. Our children are dying. They're being murdered in the schools where they're supposed to be laughing, learning, and playing. Instead, they're learning how to block doors so that active shooters cannot get in. They're learning how to deploy those concrete covers so that bullets cannot ricochet into their area. They're learning how to do active shooter drills instead of laughing, learning, and playing. And that's why I believe in the HOPE Act. The HOPE Act is a bill that I will be sponsoring when you elect me, Mitchell Jacob, to represent you in the United States Congress. And the HOPE Act is very simple. It stands for holding our parents equally accountable. In the United States of America right now, it is illegal for a minor to own a firearm. It does not matter what kind of firearm we're talking about. Federal law says that it is illegal for a minor to own a firearm. And yet we know that so many children are being provided weapons, and they're using those same weapons to commit school shootings, mass shootings, murders, whatever the case may be. And so the HOPE Act is simple. It will say that if you have a child and you purchase them a firearm and you give that to them against federal law, and that child uses that firearm to go commit a school shooting or a mass shooting, uses it to go commit murder, then you will be held vicariously liable and charged in federal court for the exact same crimes for which your child is guilty, because you facilitated that ownership. And it will also say that negligent ownership that leads to a child securing a weapon for the same purpose will also be charged. Because if you are going to be a gun owner and you're going to have children in your home, it is on you. It is your responsibility to ensure that it is safely and responsibly stored. It is not on the victims who lost their children. It is not on the school to do enough drills to make sure that the children know where to hide when there's an active shooter. It is not on the government to spend more money to ensure that we have alarm systems to go off and tell us where the shooter is in the school. It is on the people to responsibly exercise their Second Amendment rights and to follow the law and to ensure that the weapons that you are providing your children are not being used to commit crimes. That's what is true. Responsible gun ownership is what I advocate for every single day. I love going to the gun range. I love firing rounds downrange. But I do it responsibly, and I do it in a way that comports with your right to pursue life, liberty, and that pursuit of happiness. And that is what the HOPE Act will demand, that we hold our parents equally accountable for their actions. Beyond that, another bill that I will be sponsoring when you elect me to be your next representative for Oklahoma's 4th Congressional District is the DNA Act. The DNA Act stands for Doctors, Not Accountants. And what it says at its core, because I'm sure that so many of you on this live stream have been affected by this very issue, that you pay your premium to your health insurance company. You are up to date. You are doing everything that you're supposed to do. And yet, when that time comes where a doctor says you need a course of surgery, a round of treatment, whatever it is that they have recommended, that doctor has given you medical advice, that the health insurance company comes back and denies that coverage, even though you're up to date on your premium, even though you've been paying, even though you are ready and willing to pay your copay or extra or whatever it is for that procedure, they deny it because it's too expensive. Well, guess what? Health insurance is a risk, and insurance means that both parties accept that risk, not just the patient, not just you. And so the DNA Act will say that no health insurance company has the right to deny coverage that a duly licensed physician has recommended for a patient unless two physicians who have taken the Hippocratic Oath determine that that is not medically necessary and override it that way. I see the question and I won't forget it, but it's critical to me that finance managers and account managers are not the ones who are providing you medical advice, but rather that it's your doctor. And that's what the DNA Act will do. It will put the impetus back on medical professionals to make medical decisions and insurance companies to pay the insurance that to pay out the coverage and treatment that they are obligated to do as a result of accepting your health insurance premium. The question is, when I lose the primary, am I willing to endorse Jeff Pixley? Well, number one, June 16th, 2026, go vote. Whether myself or Mr. Pixley, it's time to get rid of Tom Cole. And as a result, yes, all I ask is that you register to vote and then you actually go vote. And I'm here to do your will, whether that's be represent you in the United States Congress or whether it's help you elect whomever it is you vote on June 16th to be your nominee for the November 3rd, 2026 election. I am here as one of the people to be one of the people. And so I will absolutely honor the results of that election. And if my opponent wins, I will happily endorse him. Just as I expect that if you elect me to be your nominee for November 3rd, that he will endorse me. That's the only way that this thing works. We're all in it together, and we need to have a representative who is like you and me, one of the people in that seat again. And just a reminder, recently the federal government shut down, and we know that the big reason it shut down is over healthcare, health insurance specifically. And a condition of reopening the government is that we would have a vote, Congress would have a vote more accurately, on extending the premium tax credits for the Affordable Care Act. Well, that vote was scheduled for yesterday, December 16th, 2025. And you'll notice that there were not a bunch of headlines saying Congress votes to extend the premiums or Congress votes not to extend the premiums. Because instead what happened is Speaker Johnson wants you to suffer. And he blocked the ability of the House to vote upon the extension of those premium tax credits. As a result of that action, two things are now true. One, on January 1st of 2026, premiums for ACA marketplace health insurance coverage is set to double and in some cases triple. So if you were paying $500 per month for your health insurance, you can expect to pay between $1,000 and $1,500 per month starting in 2026. This means that people will be going bankrupt, will be going without care, will be dropping or losing their health insurance, and that rural hospitals that are already strained are going to be even more strained because Speaker Johnson doesn't think that we should even vote on whether or not to give you a premium tax credit. The premium tax credit for your ACA marketplace. I see the question down here, and I'll get to it in 1 second. The other thing that is true is that whether or not to extend the premium tax credits is not a partisan issue. 4 House Republicans have now signed on to a discharge petition to force that issue to a vote. Because if Speaker Johnson wants to block it, there is a mechanism for the House overriding that, and that is in the process. Because whether or not you should have health insurance is an American issue. It is not a partisan issue. Sorry, I'm about to be kicked off. I got to do the thing 1 second. All right, sorry about that. But it takes an act of Congress literally at this point for us to even have a vote on whether or not you should have access to affordable health care in the new year. And when you elect me, I will absolutely be fighting for your right to pay an affordable premium for your health care. There was a question that says, am I going to join the woke left? Or what is your question? Or stand as a moderate for both parties and representing Americans? My friends, let me say this very, very, very clearly. I believe in people, not party. It's a simple fact that one has to run under a party. Just look at who is in Congress. They are all a member of a party as a general point, because that's the system that we've built. But I believe that it is the people who vote upon those. I'm phrasing this poorly. I can say this a lot. I am one of you. I want a representative who represents us, not represents a party, represents an idea, and not represents a particular belief, but represents the individual people who make up their district. And that's all that I'm asking, is that someone like you and me represent us. I am not running to represent the Republican Party. I'm not running to represent the Democratic Party or the Libertarian Party. I'm running to represent the good, wonderful, hardworking, industrious people of Oklahoma's 4th District. And that is who I'm running to represent when you elect me, Mitchell Jacob, to represent you in the United States Congress. We had a question come in. Give me 1 second. All right. So here are a few things I want to hit really quickly. So I was honored last Saturday to turn in a full box of brand new unwrapped toys to Toys for Tots, so that we could ensure that another children in this case, but another child who deserves it, would be able to wake up on Christmas morning to a little bit of Christmas magic. And I want to say, however you celebrate and whatever you believe, happy holidays. I hope that it is a blessed time for you, your family, your loved ones, and that you get to spend time with those who you care most about in the world. And if you would like to extend a little bit more holiday magic to those who are in need a little bit, we're still doing our holiday gift card drive. It ends on December 18th. Yes, there's December 18th. So, tomorrow. So tomorrow is the last day to bring in increments of $10, but $10 gift cards to the headquarters, which is at 300 West Gray in Norman, Oklahoma. And those are all being donated to Food and Shelter, a nonprofit in Norman, Oklahoma, that helps feed the unhoused population here in Norman. There was a question that said about lobbyists. All it says is, what about lobbyists? I don't know what that's referencing specifically. But what I can say is this: I'm not accepting PAC money. So I'm not accepting lobbyist money. The only money that I'm accepting in this campaign is from individual Americans like you and me, who believe in this campaign, who believe in my, not my vision, our vision, who believe that the people can represent ourselves once again, and put one of the people back in office. So I hope that's an answer to the question, because it wasn't a full question. But I am not accepting special interest money, plain and simple. The only special interest I want to represent is what is your individual interest, so that I can best represent you. Additionally, I want to invite you, if you've enjoyed this conversation, this virtual town hall, then put it on your calendar right now, January 17th, 2026, 4 p.m. I'll say the date again in 1 second. Mid-America Technology Center in Wayne, Oklahoma. There is a moderated debate forum between myself and Mr. Jeff Pixley, who is also vying for the Democratic nomination for 2026 for Oklahoma's 4th. Come and join us on January 17th, 2026 at 4 p.m., Mid-America Technology Center in Wayne, Oklahoma, so that you can ask your questions live, so you can hear this live, and so you can hear both of us next to each other. And once again, my name is Mitchell Jacob, your favorite candidate for United States Congress, running for Congress right here in Oklahoma's 4th District to unseat Tom Cole. I need your help. If you believe in the message that you've heard tonight, then I ask you to consider contributing. Whether that is your time, come and knock some doors with me, or make some phone calls with me. Whether it's your talents, are you a coder or website designer? Are you good at content? Are you good at data entry or licking envelopes and stamps? Then donate that talent that you have. It will make a difference. And if those don't work for you, then I can always take your treasure. Write a check or go to mitchelljacob.com, click donate now, and you can contribute that way. Thank you so much for being here. However you celebrate, whatever you believe, happy holidays. I hope it's a blessed time for you and yours. I'm so grateful and so thankful that you joined me this evening. The question is, will we be broadcasting January 17th? It's our plan. I don't control the venue, so we have a lot of work to do on that front. We will definitely be announcing it in advance. But since it's not my facility, I don't have all of the details at this time. We will be going out there to test the Wi-Fi and see how we can set up and make sure it will work. But it is our goal and our intention to broadcast it, because I understand that life gets busy, and I understand that not everyone can be there. But I still want you to be involved, because this is your campaign too. Welcome home, my friends. Have a good night. Now I'm going to awkwardly stare at you while we close out this feed. But again, thanks so much for being here.